This is The Soul Garden, presented by me, Georgina Langdale, for the Centre for Nature Connection, and it's where we get to explore nature, compassion and soul through the inner and outer workings of living in a connected world. Hi there, I'm delighted to have you here again. Thank you so much, and I hope that all is well for you. We can often find ourselves thinking, is this what I'm meant to be doing? Is this what I came here to do? We can find ourselves questioning, who am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? What am I here to do? And so with that in mind, I thought I would return to Marsilio Ficino, who I did talk about a bit in last week's podcast. I'm doing this because he talks about soul. He called himself a physician of the soul, which I think is lovely, the soul doctor. And I just get this feeling, in these really tricky times we're in now, we can be really supported, and we can support the people we love and the people around us even more than ever with a soulful approach to life and finding that soul connection, soul alignment in ourselves and in the world around us. So just to briefly recap, Marsilio Ficino was just the most amazing man. He was a physician and a philosopher and a priest, and he lived in the 1400s in Florence. Last week I touched on how I've created an aromatic portrait of him in my Atelier Signatum project. But this week I wanted to look a bit more at him, why he inspires me, and how I work with him to help people really find and nail their purpose and their sort of soul-aligned purpose in life. Marsilio Ficino called himself a physician of the soul, and this infused everything he did. He was under the patronage of the de' Medici family, and Cosimo de' Medici had given him a villa on the outskirts of Florence. So this, we're talking in the kind of mid-late 1400s. And in that villa, Ficino lived. He worked translating Plato's texts from ancient Greek into Latin, and also some into the sort of vernacular and local language of the day. He had an academy there, and it must have been the most amazing place. A lot of the Renaissance artists and movers and shakers of the time would go there to learn from him, to learn about Plato's philosophies and how they could apply it to their art, to their life, and to their soul. When Ficino saw a client, he would do a number of things. First up, he would do their astrological chart, and then he would look at that to get a sense of their health and well-being in relationship to their context within nature and cosmos. So he would look at what are the astral influences that are impacting on their soul and spirit and their physical form. He would also look at then what are the plants that will be the medicine that can support this person, what are the gemstones we can use to bring down those positive astral influences to get them in balance. And he would compose music for them on his lyre, and he would also encourage them to get out into nature. He was the kind of ultimate eco-therapist and a music and art therapist. Ficino really believed in the idea of if we feed and nourish our soul with what it requires, then this is going to help us in the way that we navigate our life. And I really love that, because for me, when I look at soul, I really think of this heart space. For me, soul is where we truly reside within ourselves, with no ego, with no fears and sense of competition or comparison. It is just where we truly are. It is the things that light us up. So when we are really in touch with what our soul needs, we can really start to live and work in a way that supports our well-being, our emotional well-being, our physical well-being. It can help allay stress and fear and anxiety. And, in this day and age, I just think that's so important. I've found over the past few years, when I've been coaching clients or doing my own work and my own artistic pursuits and things, I really draw on the work of Marsilio Ficino and his ideas to help myself and to help others reach that point of really understanding their inner landscape and the things that feed their soul. One of the offerings I have over at my website, georginalnature.com, is this soul-aligned purpose offering. I've done this because I've just seen how valuable this can be and how life-changing and transformational working with this idea of soul alignment can be. So if you were to come to me for this offering, I would look at you through Ficino's eyes, through those Renaissance eyes. So first up, I'm going to do your astrological chart for you. And in that, I'm really looking at you writ large upon the cosmos. So imagine at night under a starry sky, you go outside, you look up, and you see all those stars and you see planets moving through different constellations and within that you're getting a sense of yourself reflected back to you. It's a really beautiful concept. It connects you to that amazing night sky, that universe above us. And we're going to look at where are the pushes and pulls within that? What are the forces in the heavens that you can work with to your advantage? And I'm thinking of this in a really emotional, psychological, and physical constitutional way. So we're going to look at that. Where could it be that the things that feed your soul lie? So we get a sense of your emotional landscape. We get a sense of your talent landscape, the things in life, in creativity and art and science that you may have an affinity for. And we can see how you might be able to support them. Then I go another step further. I then look at this and then I look at, so what are the plants that, and the places and the landscapes that will feed your soul in a really positive way, that will help you find strength, find grounding, find understanding, find inspiration. Where are the plants and the landscapes that nourish your soul? We're going to get right into the very core and being of you. So do the chart, and then I spend an hour and a half with you going through my interpretation of that chart. And we can do this in person or we do it on Zoom, and you'll get a copy of the charts and my notes and a recording of that session. I make plant and flower essences, and most of these I make from plants that I'm growing organically in my gardens and that also are growing organically and wildly in places around where I live, points of significance in the landscape. And I harvest the plant material for these essences at different times of year, in different seasons, and I really take note of different astrological transits and things that are happening, what constellation the moon may be moving through, or planets, to really be able to augment their astrological affinities, so then I can work with them, as Ficino did, to help with different emotional and constitutional needs. So, having done the reading for you, there may be plant essences I have that can also help support that soul space for you. So we've done your chart. We've looked at landscape and plants and seasons and elements that can really support your soulful well-being. So we're drawing on all that wisdom of ancients to get really clear on the things that make your soul sing. Then the next step in this work is vision planning, and this is really great fun. We take a deep dive into the things that light you up and make your soul sing. So what I'm trying to do with this offering is help you get really clear on what your soul needs to nourish it, to nurture it, to revitalize it, and to help you live a really soul-aligned life, and one full of purpose. So we spend time together, again in person or on Zoom, going through this vision planning. We're going to be in really sacred space together, and I'm holding space for you so you can explore these ideas, explore your visions in a really safe and nurturing space. We're going to find out what really resonates for you. We might do some guided meditations and shamanic journeying work to help you get clear on that. The last part of this is getting some goals and some steps towards those goals on the board. So if part of your soul vision is about setting up your own business, we're going to explore who your customers are and what motivates them, your ethics and values and how they all resonate. If it's about unlocking your creative life, your soul-led creative life, we're just going to look at what that might be like and the steps that you can take to get there. If it's about having a career change, then we're going to look at what are the ways that you can work that really align with your soul. What are the industries and sectors that you might be in? This is really about helping you see you reflected back to yourself in the macrocosm, in nature, and in your interior landscape. We're going to sow seeds for you to allow to grow and harvest. We're going to look at the things that maybe it's time for them to die away. You know, is it the time for letting go? What is it time for bringing things in? Marsilio Ficino spoke about this idea of us being a microcosm of the macrocosm, that we're a world within a world. And so when he was looking at you through astrological charts and through nature, he was looking at how you can create that inner world, that world within, that nurtures body and soul, and how you can work with the world around you to nurture body and soul. And in doing that, we find this sense of soul alignment, of purpose and of peace. Marsilio Ficino said in his 3 books on life, to live well and prosper, first know your natural bent, your star, your genius, and the place suitable to these. Here live and follow your natural profession. And so this soul-aligned purpose offering that I give you helps you do that, helps you really get to the heart of your natural bent, your natural talents, your genius, your star, and how to create the place that is suitable to all of that within you. I'm a woman in my mid-50s. For many, when we get to this point in our lives, when we're in midlife, we start to question everything. We can question the career we've had to date, relationships, our idea on things. We start to maybe think about, what is it that I really came here to do? And sometimes we may feel that we're not quite living that thing we came here to do quite yet. So I put myself through this whole process to really help myself get clear on what I want to do, and I check in with it regularly. We evolve, we change, we shift. And as we start to work in a way that's truer to our soul, it's like another layer opens up, and then another, and then another. And so this soul-aligned purpose offering can just help us check in on that, can invite us to go deeper, and then go deeper again. Ultimately, I find that working in a soulful way, in a soul-aligned way, does a couple of things. One, it helps get unhooked from ego. So I think I might have mentioned it earlier. It helps unhook us from all that comparison stuff. And isn't social media just a kind of nightmare for that at times if we let it? Working in a soulful way is about just being true to ourselves and not comparing ourselves to others. It's just being on our own path. The other thing I find about working in a really soulful way is that it creates this connection to oneness, to the soul in others, to the soul in nature, to the soul and spirit of place. And this can be incredibly healing, and it can be really supportive in often difficult times of transition where we're kind of challenging everything about us and around us. Doing this in a soulful way helps us keep nourished, nurtured, supported, and truly authentic. It helps us live with integrity. And Marsilio Ficino, these things were really important to him. He wanted to help people nourish their soul and live in a soulful way. And he was doing this in the 1400s, and here we are centuries later. His ways of working, his ideas have so much relevance for today. So when I work with you, I'm going to work with you in that Ficinian way, in that way of the Renaissance. I'm going to help you with your own Renaissance. And we are able to do this in person if you're here in New Zealand, or we can do it live together, just you and I on Zoom, over a number of sessions to get you in tune with your genius. Ficino talked about we each have our own daemon, our own star. He helps you find your guiding star. I'm going to help you find your guiding star. I'm so grateful to that Florentine physician of the soul, Marsilio Ficino, for leaving us with so many of his ideas of how we live and see our health and our emotional and spiritual and physical well-being in relationship with nature and cosmos, and lived truly with soul. Before I go, I should also add that if you're interested in another take on Ficino, check out my podcast, or if you're looking at this on YouTube, check out the interview I have with the wonderful Thomas More, who is the author of the best-selling book, Care of the Soul. And like me, he is a bit of a Ficino fan. And we had a beautiful talk about Ficino, and we were looking at applying some of Ficino's ideas to care of the soul at the end of life. You can find that here on the Soul Garden podcast. And if you're interested in looking at this soul-aligned purpose offering of mine, you can find out details and you can book your sessions through my website, which is georginalnature.com. And you'll see on the homepage there's a thing with soul-aligned purpose and a button you can press that says Learn More. Okay, that's me for now. Thank you so much for joining me here in the Soul Garden, and I look forward to seeing and talking to you next time. Take care. Bye.